And I know there are many students. This is a little challenging time because of the finals. And
intro, he just started recording.
Okay. So those who are online and those who are here, I have a couple of our staff members as well. Welcome you all, and we're trying to do this first series of the seminars for introducing what the NOAA scholarship is all about, helping the students put together one of their best applications and why these scholarships are important. So we'll walk through the whole thing, and also we would help the students with the application package. So probably today is not the best time because the finals are still, just about a few days away at the City College campus. But we're hoping that we can record this and then convert it into a YouTube and just, share with all our center partners at other universities and also here at City College. So welcome all again, and my name is Shakila Merchant, and I would be speaking about applications for both undergraduate scholarship programs within the NOAA education. So a brief overview on my presentation. So talk a little bit about what NOAA is, or what NOAA CREST is, and what the scholarship is all about. There are two types of scholarships, undergraduate scholarship and Holllings. What are the scholarship goals and benefits, and what's the process, and how do you maximize your NOAA experience, and some of the examples of the past NOAA scholars, and where are they now? What are they doing? So, and then we'll walk through the whole thing, and we'll keep a lot of time for Q&A for them. So just a little bit about NOAA. It is one of the oldest federal agency. It was created way back in 1807. And as you can see from the statistics, there are 9 key focus areas, and about 12,000 employees within NOAA working nationally and internationally. And then there are about 6,773 researchers within NOAA. Of course, the history, as I said, dates back to 1807. It falls within the Department of Commerce. Most important aspect of NOAA is development of its science and commercial infrastructure. And of course, NOAA has a large partnership with private sectors and with other agencies, and of course, academic partners. And that's how we are one of the stakeholders for NOAA. And what does NOAA do? As you can see from these slides, NOAA does everything from the roof of the sun to the bottom of the ocean. Anything that happens within the environment, the stewardship of environmental changes. Some of the examples of what NOAA does is, saving people's lives by using the satellite information, managing more than 11 million square miles of coastlines within the United States, or getting more than 20 terabytes of data every single day, and of course, stretching the observation of nearly 4 million miles of the polar orbiting satellites. And there are 2 types of satellites. And a polar is like something that goes around, and geostationary is a satellite is stationary, but the Earth is moving around it. So they try to get information from both these different missions of satellites. So just a flavor of what NOAA does is, it's really doing user-inspired science, but to help the society, but to help the people, right? The people come first. So with a NOAA experience, you can land in any kind of job. You can be, a financial expert, or you could be working for private sectors. You could be a professor. You could be, an engineer. You can do anything. And I think this as an undergraduate experience can lay as a foundation for you to get any kind of job that you want to do. So, and the reason why it is because its mission spans from the surface of the sun to the depth of the ocean. So anything and everything within the Earth ecosystem is what NOAA does. And that's perhaps one of the biggest difference between NASA and NOAA is NASA looks outside the Earth, and NOAA looks inside the Earth and safeguarding the people's lives. to this date, it's only one planet that survives life, right? That's Earth. So we have to safeguard that. But of course, NASA also has satellite missions that's trying to safeguard the planet from the extraterrestrial or objects or something like that. So NOAA pretty much works within weather, climate, ocean, coast, fisheries, and satellites, research, marine aviation, charting, and sanctuaries. So as you can see that you could be having any kind of interest and you can fit into NOAA's interest. So you can align your interest as a STEM scholar or a STEM professional within anything that you want to do. You can be a climate science, or you can do in weather, or you can do in fisheries or in oceanographer. So there is a spot for anybody who is really dedicated to doing something along those lines. And so how do we come into the picture? So what's our affiliation with NOAA? It's very important because we are not NOAA, but we are NOAA partner. So we are NOAA's academic partner for the last 16 years, and we are headquartered here at City College. And one of the aspects, or one of the important mission for our center is to recruit and train students like you to be engaged in the NOAA mission science, to help you get that core competency, to help you get that training and hands-on experience, learning experience, so you can graduate with the job readiness. So you're really getting that tools for the trade, because once you graduate, everybody who graduates, they have to look for a job, right? We all want a job. But how ready are you for that job? And we help you create that pathway for yourself. So we can serve as a great gateway for you to build your career. And our objective is to help you build your career in NOAA mission science. So that's why we are a NOAA center. And as you can see, we are a large organization. We're headquartered here at City College, but we have a consortium. We have a campus. We have a center at the University of Maryland, Baltimore, Hammond University, Puerto Rico, San Diego State University, and El Paso. So we have students just like you in all these campuses, also learning about NOAA and getting trained, be it undergraduate, master's, or PhD. This particular scholarship is only for undergraduates, and we'll talk about that. So why should you even care about a NOAA internship? And why NOAA is investing into this kind of opportunity? It's very cost effective for NOAA, so for the following reasons. Of course, they can partner with you guys, young minds and talents, to work on solving some ongoing problems. And you could be educated in emerging technologies. It's very important to understand the changing environment, right? The cutting edge, you really have to tackle with this cutting edge sciences to be able to understand and offer solutions to the 21st century problems. Hurricane Sandy, New York City, people say that such kind of intense hurricane doesn't happen, happens once in 500 years, but now they're predicting it could happen once in 5 years, right? How do you really understand that change? How do you understand? Because these are all, we say, 21st century problems. So we really have to have that kind of a technology or trade or competency to understand that. And it helps you with your future employment. And there was an article in CNN that 75% of students who have an internship while they are attaining their degrees get a job, right? So having an internship where you're still in your degrees, but still complete your degree, really helps boost your chances of getting that future employment. And you can serve as NOAA ambassadors. And some of these scholars do go back as future employees or scientists or engineers within NOAA. The fundamental assumption why we want to do this, that you do have a passion for STEM. And STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, right? So we want to make sure that you do have a passion, and your internship is relevant to these, your academic pursuit, rather, is related to the internship that you're trying to do. And that connection should be there when you're trying to apply. You should be brilliant and self-motivated, and I'm sure you are. And you should be independent, and you should be ready to work away from your home. This internship is not that you can stay here in your lab and do it. This internship is you're staying 8 to 10 weeks away in a wonderful NOAA vessel or on a NOAA aircraft or in a NOAA lab, maybe in Alaska or Hawaii or anywhere in the country. So it is a true experience of the real world. So it is going out of your comfort zone and going away from your home. So you should be ready for that and make up your mind before you apply for this. You should assume personal responsibility and think this internship as a positive experience. And you will see why. I'll show you some of the slides of where our past scholars are, and you would appreciate the research or the mission that NOAA has for the American society in general. And there are three important phases of internship, and it all begins from the home institution. You have to connect your major, your degree to what NOAA would be doing or what you would be doing in NOAA. So it is important that when you write an essay or you start thinking about this as a NOAA scholar, potential NOAA scholar, that you identify a faculty member. It would be very important to know that when you come back after your summer experience, you can continue working on the research. You want to consider yourself that most often it happens that undergraduate students say, I don't need to do research, and I just need to have degrees. But an undergraduate who thinks themselves as a young scientist from the sophomore level are the ones who succeed really well in their career. So identifying a faculty member early on when you're even submitting an application really helps you. You can contact the alumni, the past scholars. There are some. I have their videos, the audio here. You can listen to how they did this experiences they had with NOAA internships. And establish contact with your technical host. And this is somebody, because when you are staying in a NOAA facility for 8 weeks, you're working with a NOAA mentor as well. So knowing what line office or where you want to do for weather, or you want to go in an ocean service, or knowing which area you would like to work and connecting that with your essay is really a rewarding way of putting a package together. It really makes your application very competitive, and try to connect with the NOAA mentor that you have, and discuss the scholarship you received from NOAA with your mentor. This is very critical for students who get the scholarship, because there is an orientation week, the last week of May. Once you get, for example, you apply and you get the award, and you are being interviewed and you get the fellowship, you have to go to NOAA in the last week of May until August if you're an undergraduate scholar. But if you're a Holllings, perhaps it's only 1 week. The first year is just orientation, just 1 year of research. I'll tell you the difference in a minute. But what is important is to keep your mentors in the loop, is because most of the time students have finals, especially in City College, and they have to be in NOAA, I think, around May 20th or May 23rd. And you may be able to, that may conflict with your final. So knowing that you are awarded and you would be going there, and working with your faculty here would really help, because you can take the exams ahead of time, or you can take it later. So having that kind of a connection at your home institution is very critical. Okay, so what you should do is, do a research when you're in NOAA that can become part of your summer, your senior thesis work as a capstone, or something that you can actually talk about that in your resume and your credits. The first summer typically is 8 weeks if you're undergraduate scholars, and anybody, and the project can be done by a computer genius, a chemistry major, math, or engineering. It can be, it's very interdisciplinary. And a project can be completed within a NOAA facility. It could be an office, a field site. It can be on a NOAA vessel, a ship, or in just a lab. And then you would present your research that you do there at the end, at the Science and Education Symposium. That is again in the headquarters in NOAA. So as I said, there are 2 different scholarships. There's most of the time when I talk to people, they're always confused that it's one scholarship. It's not. There are 2 different. It's undergraduate scholarship and it's Holllings scholarship. And undergraduate, and And the major differences listed out here: undergraduate scholarship, you have to have a GPA 3.2 and above. Up to 10 awards. Only 10 students get awarded in this. It's a very limited number of students, but it is a 2 years of research instead of 1 year, right? And that can be in any facility across the U.S. But the applicants must be from a minority serving institution. And City College, being an MSI and HSI, you're eligible to apply, right? And successful candidates receive appointments and from NOAA office, and then that's the undergraduate scholarship. The Holllings scholarship, the GPA requirement is 3.0 and above, but they have a large pool of applicants. They can more than 100 students are admitted each year, and it is 1 year summer research. So the first year you just go and do the orientation, and you come back. And that year, a lot of Holllings scholars from City College had taken an internship with NASA or EPA or U.S. Army Corps, but they're still a NOAA scholar. So they're getting the best of both the worlds. Like, you can do an internship, but you're doing the 1 week orientation and come back, and then work on your internship, the 10 weeks internship for the next year with a NOAA mentor ahead of time. You have a lot of time to work on that. Connect with your faculty advisor from here. Guys, create a nice, abstract and work on that. So it really works both ways. The compensation for both scholarships is almost the same. So what's the goal for this scholarship? So to train the undergraduates in ocean and atmospheric science. NOAA is all about, NOAA stands for Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, right? It's all about the atmosphere and all about the ocean. Help you increase your understanding of what it means to stewardship your environment, your earth. And prepare you for careers, mostly in NOAA jobs, but also other agencies that is aligned with NOAA's mission sciences, or you can be working for private sector or academia, and prepare you for your career. So that's the goal, of course. Internships always boost that, and the benefits are for both the scholarships is $9,500 per year. That is the 2 academic semesters. So the summer you're spending in a NOAA facility, but when you come back, your tuition and your stipend is paid off by the scholarship. So you remain the scholar for 2 years as a junior and as a senior. And that's why it is very critical that you should have 2 more years until you graduate. You have to be a full-time student at your university when you're applying for this scholarship. Okay? You get travel funds, so you can attend up to 2 conferences. And one of them is mandated, the science symposium at the end of your research. You have to present that. And you get housing subsidy because, if you're going from New York or from Louisiana or from California, you would get subsidized housing funding, so you can stay there. And that is also covered by the program. Okay? So some of the facts about this scholarship, and you can see this on the NOAA website. 120 undergraduates have been supported so far. 1,300 network of scholars of alumni so far. This includes both, I think, Holllings and the undergraduates. 75% of those NOAA scholars do go to graduate school. So it is a very good preparation for either grad school or workforce. So every student has a different ambitions in life. Some have to go to the workforce right away, financial situations. Some can do grad school, and a lot of students do get NSF graduate fellowship, and it is a very tough competition. All these graduate fellowships, they have a very critical application process. They are nationally competitive. So 95% of students or 95 alumni have got the NSF graduate fellowship. So typically, the undergraduates range from these fields: physical science, biological science, math, engineering. As you can see, math and engineering and education, a lot of students come from those fields. Holllings scholars is also the same. The majority predominant is physical sciences, but also biological science, math, and engineering. And what do the students say about this internship? As you can see, majority of the students indicated that they plan to continue working for NOAA field, in a NOAA field. And, it's a better understanding of the NOAA as an agency. And then they plan to continue doing their education, further their education in the NOAA field. So that's a good survey. And where can you go for internships? As you can see, and sky's the limit. You can take an internship in any of these locations. And a lot of students have been to Hawaii, to Alaska, to up north and down south. And you can be on the military side of NOAA as well, aviation lab in Florida. So NOAA has a civil side and then a military side as well, right? Aviation and marine. So these are some of the places, as you can see, how students are trying to, be on an aircraft, understanding the impact of hurricane, or studying wetlands, or trying to understand the marine life, or oil spill or snow, or just cracking codes and creating models to understand weather predictions. These are some of the locations typically that students have been in the past. Woods Hole in Massachusetts, Boulder, Colorado, Silver Spring, California, Alaska, Hawaii, and these are some of the stories from the last few years of scholars. Leah studied the ice melting in North Alaska. He was on an aircraft. And Jim was in fisheries, he was on a cruise, on a NOAA ship, and trying to understand the impact of perhaps climate on the salmon and the forest community. The Holllings scholar Alfrey was at aviation office. This is the one that's in Florida I was talking about, being on the front line, understanding the impact of oil spill and how do they respond when there's a spill. And then this is a real important thing that helps with not only the science, but also social science and policy. She had an opportunity to be on the board as well. And Daniel studied carbon cycling at Mount Vernon in Washington State. So just a variety of exposures that students get, and a typical rule of thumb, the application process, the essay is the heart of it, or the soul of it. Your essay speaks about who you are. The selection committee perhaps get thousands of applications. Why should yours stand out, right? So your essay is what speaks about why you should be given this opportunity, right? So having that connection with NOAA's mission, and having the connection with your personal mission, having the connection with the institutions from where you are, matters a lot. And we do help students with one-on-one application process. Of course, your transcript, it is safe to have 3.2 and above, which means that you can apply for both. You can apply for undergraduate scholarship as well as Holllings. But you can, if you have 3.0, you can still apply for Holllings. So it is good to know that. And your recommendation letter is very critical. You can submit unofficial transcript now. I think they do not require you to have an official transcript because it takes a lot of time. And you need to have 2 recommendation letters from the faculty who knows you, whose classes you have taken. You cannot just have somebody who doesn't know you and write for you your recommendation. That carries a lot of weight as well. The applications typically open in September, but it ends in January. People think that, there are 4 months time, I have enough time to do it. And always it was our experience that people rush at the last minute because, getting the recommendation letter, faculties may not have the time, getting the transcript from the bursar's office, having all that thing done ahead of time would really help, because remember, the fall break is for 1 month, especially in City College. And, by the time you come back to school, it's for the spring semester, you have a couple more days. It's due on 31st. So it's important that you have all your legwork, your homework done. And you cannot just write an essay that, whatever you like to. Your essay should really speak to who you are. Very critical. So 4 months looks like a long time period, but it is not. So you should really start working on it. And of course, now it's December. So before you go on a fall break, you should think about it and talk to us, to me or my staff, and see how you can, get that real good, solid essay. So this is a page where you can sign in. You cannot see the application unless you sign in, and and you have to create an account. As you can see, it's due on 31st of January. And once you do it, I think you can see this is how the page looks like. And this was the slide that was created by the past scholars. And it typically asks, and all the fields are mandated. You see there's a red asterisk, so which means that you have to fill up all of these. And having a complete application is as critical as your essay. So you can apply for both undergraduate and Holllings, but perhaps you need to have 2 login accounts. Not sure about that, but we can check it out. So this is Lawrence page. So he actually created this for us and wanted to, he actually helped a lot of students apply. He was a true ambassador of NOAA scholarship here on City College campus. So as you can see, this is just an application process. You have to really complete every information that is required with transcripts uploaded and what honors and awards received and your extracurricular activities, if you've done any community services or you've done any, anything that relates to, climate stewardship or citizen science. All of these things really matters a lot when you put this application together. And this is the biggie, the essay that you have to, there's a character limit on that. It's really important that you write a nice essay which is very precise, but also, trying to see, and you have to identify the probably, I don't know if I can put this on, but maybe not. You have to identify which line office you will be working with. It is very critical to know, and if you know what NOAA scientists you will be working with, that's bingo. It's a double bingo. So it would be very nice to know early on how your work will work. And that's where the NOAA Quest team comes in the play, plays a critical role, that we can tell you what is good depending on your area of expertise or your interest and what you want to do. So, so that's very critical, and that's why it's important that we should talk about it. These are some of the examples of our past scholars. Asim was one of the first undergraduate scholars that was a mechanical engineer. He finished in 2014. The first year, I think he worked at the headquarters in DC, and the second year he was in Florida, working with the aviation folks and creating a cool, downloading the data from the aircraft and computing them for the weather forecasters, and so that was an amazing job that he did. And as you can see, is all smiles here. And Valentina Rapa, 2016. Her project was on Hapalago Bloom in Florida and Lake Erie, and her NOAA mentors were Rick Stump and Michelle, and worked for NOAA Ocean Service because she was always an ocean person. She loved ocean diving and stuff like that. So you see, you really connect your interest to what NOAA can offer to you. So you really have to bring that two things together. These were her memorable takeaways. She learned how to process satellite imagery to strengthen her communication skills. I can just tell her, hey, you need to give a presentation tomorrow. She'll say, yeah, I'm ready, right? She wouldn't have butterflies in her stomach. No, I can't, I'm not ready. She was really good speaker, and she traveled field work, and she thought this was an amazing opportunity for her. And this was Lawrence. Oh gosh, what can I say about him? He was an amazing student as well. He graduated, and I'll tell you where he is. I have some slides that shows where these students are right now. He worked on snow. He wanted to know what happens when the snow melts and how it really impacts the, climate change and global warming. And so he actually contributed a lot to the NOAA's operational product. And he has publications as an undergraduate scholar. And it really got him a worthwhile fellowship to do his PhD on the West Coast now. So this was a good launching pad for him for his career. The first year he did the work on snow. The second year, because he was undergraduate scholar, he went to Colorado and he studied soil. How does soil moisture connect with water, right? Snow. And he had a different mentor. He did a different work. See, as an undergraduate, the sky's the limit. You can do 2 different research in 2 different summers. And they do fun stuff as well. They make friends. They have, they connect with each other. He learned R, Linux, ArcGIS. I had a lot of in-depth knowledge that school or the academic setting doesn't teach you. And that's the best part about these internships. And this was Samuel, and he actually developed a cool technology for the LiDAR. He was an electrical engineer. And the good thing about him was that he overcame altitude sickness, and he was able to climb the Rocky Mountains. Isn't that fun? So Hammond was another entrepreneur, amazing guy. I'm sure most of you guys know because he started the TED Talk, CCNY here. And he won some of the Zahn Center entrepreneurship awards as well. He was a unique student. When he applied this and he was talking about his scholarship and his essay and all, he had 5 other internship opportunities available to him. And in Germany, he had from NASA, he had from Colin Powell, he had from EPA, and he had NOAA. And he chose NOAA. So this is how some of the students really shine, and he's also doing, I think, he worked for Con Edison. Now he's doing his PhD in Massachusetts. And some of the takeaways, most critical part is you should start your application a month in advance, so you're not late now, right? You have time. Make sure your recommenders know you. They know what help them with. Most faculty would love if you can draft the letter for them a little bit so that you can at least write who you are and supply your resume to the faculty. Do not just say that I need a recommendation letter and I need it by this, and then expect the faculty to work for you. You really have to put a little bit effort to that. Draft the letter the way you are, who you are, when you started, what you're doing, and that will really help the recommenders to give you a recommendation letter on time, right? The applications are available here, and of course, we'll go through that. And where are these scholars now? So let's go see. So Ashin is working as a systems engineer at Ford Company, mechanical engineer. He's the guy who did that cool computational data from the aircraft, right? He's at Michigan. And guess what? I just got a message from him that he would be doing his master's and Ford will fund his tuition. So the company is going to fund him completely to do his master's degree. So he is really a man of pride for us. And Cray Sosa was another fact. And a good thing about Cray is he was our high school intern. Then he did his undergraduate with us. He became a NOAA scholar, and now he's a software engineer here at in New York City. And Ahmed, of course, he worked at Con Edison now. I think he did not update his LinkedIn, but he is, as much as I know, he is in Boston right now. So he is doing his, I was told he joined either Raytheon or Northrop Grumman, but I don't have the information. But I know wherever he is, I know that he's going to be reaching the stars. He was an amazing guy. Lawrence is doing his PhD at UC Irvine, and he was an amazing ambassador of NOAA scholarship program on campus. Believe me, if Lawrence was here today, this room would have been full with students. He was a true ambassador. Valentina is right now working at SUNY Building Performance Lab. She wanted some more experience on the energy side. She did the ocean, and she wanted to do that. And I'm sure she's going to go to grad school in the oceanography field. Maria was another student. She's still I think she's graduating this year. And then Olivia was another undergraduate scholar. She's working in California as a LPL associate, and that's about it. So these are some of the valuable information that you should go visit these websites, learn about NOAA, know in depth about NOAA, and pick up the topic or research that is of dear to you and why and how you connect that. A lot of people write essays that, on Hurricane Sandy, how it affected. They were in Long Island, how it really affected their life, and they wanted to do something that they are able to serve the society by doing cool science, So there's always a good part of the essay that really speaks to who you are. So, but in order to do that, you need to understand completely what NOAA is about. So these are some of the resources that you can use. For me, I use these resources to put the slides, and of course, thanks to all the students who helped me put those application things together. There was an audio to it, but I wasn't able to run this because this computer does not have that. It's not upgraded. I couldn't read it here. Yeah, it did not show up. But anyway, so Lawrence and Valentina and all had actually spoken in those slides that I could have just, but unfortunately the PowerPoint here was a lower grade. So, but anyway, so this is the batch of 2017, and if you are ready, we are ready for you to train you guys to put your package together, okay? And this is my team. You can speak to me, or Caesar is here, Olga is here, Luba is not here, but Valerie is here as well. She could help with your essay. And of course, you can also contact the NOAA program office. I know the Holllings Scholarship, I'm not sure if Victoria is the same person, but Kristen is online, and she is from, she does oversee the Holllings Scholarship Program there at NOAA. So, and I'm ready for your questions.
I do have a question.
Sure.
And when you first started, you said the NOAA is the commerce side.
Yes.
Why is that?
Oh, that's a good question. So it is on the Department of Commerce, and mostly because whatever extreme events happen, it does impact the infrastructure, right? Bridges and buildings and fleets and the ships and the navigation, and there's a lot of things that impacts the commerce, the trade. And there has to be an agency who is doing that early alert system too, so that it doesn't impact the economy. It doesn't impact our global economy or the national economy. So I think those are some of the reasons, to the best of my knowledge, that it still sits under Department of Commerce, even though it does so much of science. But yeah. Okay.
Like how it covers like civil engineers, like field.
Sure, absolutely. So civil engineering, if you are, I'm assuming could be a structural engineer, for example, right? So you guys are more related to buildings, right? And buildings, how buildings could be affected. Just an example, buildings could be affected by, extreme weather, tornadoes, or how a hurricane can affect the building, the basement, the flooding, or even the integrity of the building. So what building codes you should use that can be environmental friendly or sustainable. So that's one way of relating a civil engineer to what NOAA is doing, right? And environmental engineering, which is another area of concentration within civil engineering, is all about environment. Water resources, hydrology, that's all, engineering, civil engineering.
Yeah.
Right?
So my question was, that's around, Valentina was the one that was working in the ocean.
Yes.
Is there any other person that you're aware of, of any other line of work where you're working with water, maybe water quality, water distribution, or is it more of like just ocean and not?
No, there are many people who work for water, and there is a National Water Center now with NOAA. Okay. It's in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where just all they're doing is water, and water could be more water or less water. It's an extreme, right? If you have more water, it's flooding. If you have less water, it's drought. And both of these are monitored by NOAA. And good thing about the National Water Center is that it's an interagency initiative. It's between U.S. Geological Survey and U.S. Army Corps and NOAA. It's a true business model where agencies talk to each other and work together, because water is life. We all need water, and we don't need water in excess, and we don't need water in scarcity. So there's a great model, national water model that they have, and there is a ton of components to that. There could be, the atmospheric components, so you can integrate the work model to it. And the first operational model is there, but they are trying to advance that by adding more inputs to it, depending on, the changing environment. Exactly. Yeah. So that's a very good way of connecting with the water group within NOAA.
Yeah.
Precipitation, precipitation, and water could be, precipitation could be snow. That's water as well, right? It melts down to become water and river ice, and it could be an impact. River ice could have a major impact on industries, right? Navigation, marine, industries, and all the industries which are by the side of the river. If there's an ice dam, how would it impact the energy sector? So you will see so much interconnection and crosswalk between different sciences, and you can always, pick up the topic that you feel that is, dear to your heart, and also it is connected with NOAA.
I have another question. Remember when we started talking, I told you that we all have like a year and a half to graduate.
Right.
And I wanted to know, you said that we could probably delay your graduation for the end of the summer.
Yes.
But how are we able to do that?
So most of the engineering students do not graduate in 4 years. So, for instance, mechanical engineering, definitely they graduate in 5 years. They can never graduate in 4 years. But there are many students, they graduate in 4.5 years. And if you do that, then you are a full-time student until August or September. So that you get two. So the idea is to get 2 summers to spend as a NOAA scholar in a NOAA facility. So if you are graduating, say, in June or July, might as well graduate in August or September, right? This is something that you'll have to work with your department and your departmental advisor, and see how, because you cannot lose your full-time student status either. So if it is ESE program, then LUBA can be helpful, but the departmental advisor can help you. But I think Dr. Kambulwadi would be able to help you with that as well, because he suggested that you should attend this seminar today.
Yeah.
So I think he knows that you would be able to apply.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'll talk more about what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. But you must have 2 years to graduate to be able to get your application in. Yeah.
Also, can we apply to the scholarship? The actual one?
Yeah, undergraduate scholarship. Yes. I know that many students have applied to both, but you cannot just do both in one application only, but it's two different accounts, I guess. Kristen, are you online still?
Hey, Shakila. Yeah, so it is actually a common application. It's a little confusing. So if you have any issues with filling out the common application, do contact the student scholarship email address. But basically, what you're going to do if you apply for both programs is go in, make your login account, go through the little questionnaire, and you can just pick either EP Undergraduate Scholarship and then Holllings. And then at the end of the application, you want to make sure that you have checked the box for the other program so that you'll be considered for both programs. And overall, I'd really recommend that if you're eligible for both programs, go ahead and apply for both, because it definitely increases your chances that you'll get offered one or the other. Or sometimes students get picked for both programs and they are allowed to actually decide which one to take.
Yeah, good, great. Thanks so much. So it is only one account for both. But I heard that
one account for both programs.
Okay. So if they would have issue on the website, they can contact that student scholarship at NOAA.gov, and they would get the help through that, right?
Yes, definitely. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention was that for this year, the Office of Education actually modified the guidance for letters of recommendation. So in the past, your letters of recommendation, both of them had to be from professors that had taught you at the undergraduate level. And this year we modified it so at least one recommendation has to be from a professor who taught you at the undergraduate level, but the other letter can be from an internship mentor, a research mentor, a professor. So there's a little bit more broad guidance on that second letter. So it just opens it up so that if you've done, you've done an internship or some kind of work study or an extracurricular activity, and you want someone you haven't necessarily taken a course with to write one of those letters, that's now acceptable.
That's cool.
But the other letter definitely has to be from a professor who taught you.
So that saves a lot of time. So you don't have to run up two professors, but only one, and the other one could be somebody who you know are.
Right, and again, they can be both from professors, but if you do want it to be someone
that makes sense.
Outside of that, that's now okay.
Okay, great. That makes sense. So anybody online has any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, great. So anybody, do you guys have any questions? We will be available if you're applying, let them know. And we do want, other students who you can talk to within your class, let them know. They can come and talk to one of us and, we'll help you with your application process. Sure.
So I heard you talking about ambassador earlier. How do you apply for that?
Become an ambassador?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
You get to enlarge your network or enlarge
Absolutely.
your network as well.
Sure.
Student network.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because you're a potential applicant to CREST fellowship, right? Yes. So yeah, we'll talk about it.
Sure.
I know, right?
She's
getting too many surprise gifts this year. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. I'll stay in contact.
Good. I'm glad that you're interested to be the first ambassador, perhaps, for CREST undergraduate. Yeah, that's nice.
Will come with reward.
I know.
Yeah, people will know me by then.
All right, great. Thank you so much, guys.
Wonderful.
Um,